Hey, what's going on? I'm Will Ross here with Burn the Ship Podcast, a business podcast focused on entrepreneurs, leaders, and business owners in the community and sharing their story. I've got a special guest with me today, somebody who I've been friends with almost for a year, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And this is Tashi Speed with Rubi T Shaving or Shaving Products. I'm not sure which one we're going
Rubi
with.
T Shaving.
Rubi T Shaving. I love
Yeah.
it. Perfect. And I don't know if you can guess, there's a little bit of connection with what your product is and who you are, and I think you and I connected on that. I shaved my head, not as much as Tashi, and she's giving me a hard time about not being the full tilt, but I guess that would have been 13 months ago. So I think that was one of the first things we kind of talked about. And I was like, part of the crew, but it's also that feeling, and just that we each had our own sort of unique experience to get there. I know I was combing it over and trying to figure it out, and I was really grateful when it was all gone. I know I looked in that sink the first time, I was like, man, like that's a lot of hair. And I looked at the picture that I took like maybe a day later, and I was like, that is not a lot of hair. It was like a teeny little sink, and it's just in a corner. I was like, man, that was thinning. So anyway, don't let me speak too much here. I want to kind of jump right into this. So Rubi T Shaving has been around for...
Rubi T Shaving has been in my world for over 5 years.
5 years,
But
okay.
I finally shared it with the world a year ago.
A year ago, okay. Beautiful. So as of a year ago, out there, it is available, your website. Awesome.
It is available, yeah.
But let's take a little bit of a step back, right? So kind of where did this start? Had you already shaved your head before you decided that this was something you to pursue? Was it just kind of like a circumstance? Like, walk us through the beginnings here.
Okay. So, the beginning. Wow, it feels like so long ago,
bet.
right?
Yep.
But hair. Let's talk about hair real quick because it started there.
Sure.
I've always been excited about my hair. Hair has always been a thing, right? So, at the beginning, I would wear big hair and just hair, everything, just hair, right?
Sure.
But for the longest time, we didn't quite have products and things available for us to maintain the textures and style of my hair, my natural hair. Okay, so you start with like a perm, and you grow out of that, and I eventually went natural. So I wasn't putting chemicals in my hair to straighten it out.
Okay.
I was just allowing it to stay in its natural form, right?
Yep.
So, and over time, I'm just growing it. I'm wearing it big. I like the, afro and all that good stuff like that. And that was me. That was like a part of my identity, right? And a little over 5 years ago, I'm literally on this journey of like self-discovery. And self-discovery to me is basically just focusing inward and getting to know yourself as an individual.
Absolutely.
And we're tied to our hair. Hair is everything to a lot of us, and women, men, all of us.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, one day, true story. If you know me, you know this is true. Yeah. I was just like, I'm going to shave my head. I just want to shave my head. That's what I'm going to do, right? And I didn't have extra thoughts about it. I just knew that's what I wanted to do. So on this journey of self-discovery, that's one of the things that just popped up.
Yeah.
I wanted to shave my head. It didn't really come from like having to, because I did it by choice.
Yep.
And so I called one of my girlfriends, and I'm like, not knowing that I could do it myself.
Right.
So I'm like, hey, she's a hairstylist.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, I need to make an appointment
Here's
so you
a
can
thought.
shave my hair. Yeah, right? So, and the crazy thing is I had over a week before my appointment actually came up.
That's a wild one. Yeah, to kind of have that just sitting out there.
Just sitting out there with this major thing that's happening.
Right.
But I didn't know that. I didn't know really what I was getting myself into. It was just a decision that I made, and I'm like, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Right? So, and that week prior to, I had all of these different ideas. Like, okay, I want it like this, and maybe I'll keep a little bit, and I'll make it lower. And like, I think like a day before, I was like, I'm shaving it, and I want a rat tail. Right now,
I love it. Yeah.
These days I'm calling it a beauty braid, but
Beauty braid, all right.
Rat tail is what we basically know of. So I did it, and I mean, I didn't have any regrets doing it, and it wasn't really extra thought put into it. I really didn't. I just decided that I wanted to shave my head, and I did it, and now I'm rocking it, and I don't see myself growing my hair back at all.
I mean, if I could, I might have a different, consideration. But no, I'm with you there for sure. Yeah. It's nice. There's something about like kind of taking that step, and there's a little bit of a freedom to it, and just I feel like the first time that I shaved my head, I was afraid I was kind of look like every other bald person, you know, and
Right.
and it's really not that
No,
bad.
because you still have your face and you still have
Absolutely.
you. And it's crazy though, because I didn't even think about what other people would think or how they
Sure.
would receive it.
Yeah.
But I got so many different, like, some people were not happy
Yeah.
about it. Some people were just like, oh, what's going on? You know, did this happen?
Yeah.
And none of those things that they were coming up with were the reasons why I
Right.
shaved my head.
Right. Well, everybody wants to jump to the worst, right? And I think
Yeah.
that's like a very difficult thing to be like, no, this is a celebration of who I am, what I'm
Yeah.
trying to do. This is my journey of how I'm getting there. And this is
Yeah.
one of those things that I, wanted to do for me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I love it.
I love it
That's
too.
strong. Yeah. It's powerful. Heck yeah. All right. So you've shaved your head. This is about 5 years ago?
Yep.
Okay. And kind of going through the journey that we've talked about. I mean, self-discovery and just, mental health has become such a,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's more commonly talked about these days, maybe even from 5 years ago. I remember when I
Yeah.
was younger, like you didn't go to therapy,
No.
and I'm a strong believer in therapy.
Yeah, me too.
Tony, my dude. But it's one of those things that the more people talk about, the better it is.
Yep.
And so, this is a very physical way for you to kind of share that journey too. And I mean, to be
Yeah.
open about it here with us. And I know it's been a 5 year, kind of development, but that's
Yeah.
not easy for everybody. So
It's
I
not.
appreciate it.
And it still is not easy for me either
Yeah.
because I get so many different questions and
Yeah.
things like that I didn't even know were out there. And but it made me realize there's so many people that are attached to their hair or just their physical appearance, which is fine.
Yeah.
You should, want to
Love yourself.
look good and love
Yeah,
yourself
there you
and
go.
take great care of yourself, but you have to know that who you are is basically on the inside, and unfortunately life brings these crazy things that alters your outside appearance. And that's okay because all of your magic and all of the good stuff is on the inside anyway.
Absolutely.
So-
I mean, that's well said right there. Let's go.
That's how I feel. That's how
Yeah.
I go about it.
I love
so.
it. That's a great way to be. I mean,
Yeah.
I admire that greatly, and I completely agree with you. All right, so we're still on our journey,
Yeah, on a journey.
and having conversations with folks, kind of explaining a little bit of this is why I did this.
Yeah.
And then was there not a product that was available? Was like how did that kind of like step of like, and what were you doing at the time? Were you doing something completely different in life? Or
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, thank you for asking. So, when I first shaved my head, like I said, I didn't consider anything. I was just doing
Right.
what I was doing in the moment, and then when it was starting to grow back, I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to go to the barbershop,
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So I go to the barbershop, and I'm like, hey, just shave it off
Yeah.
for me, hook me
Yeah.
up. So he's shaving it off. He's getting me right. He goes, you want me to shake that up for you in the back? My rat tail,
Yeah.
my beauty braid.
Yeah, you read
So I'm like, yeah, sure, clean it up for me. Clean
Yeah.
it, He cleans it up. He do my thing, clean it up. I'm like, thank you.
Yeah.
Be on my way. Something says, take your braid out. Take my braid out. There's hair in my hands. And I'm like, he shaped it. Like
No
he
way.
shaped it. Like it started off as a triangle and he shaped it into a square. So that took some of my hair
Of
off,
course.
right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh no, like I'm like distraught,
Yeah,
right? Because I'm
yeah.
like, why would he do that, you
Right.
know? So I'm like, okay, whatever. Maybe this is just what happens at the barbershop.
Mm.
Okay. Another week goes by. It's time for me to do this again,
Yeah.
right? So I'm like, I'm not gonna go to him.
Smart.
I'm gonna go somewhere else,
Yeah.
right? Go somewhere else, and basically the same thing happens. I immediately like, thank you, leave.
Yeah.
Get on the phone. I call my sister. I'm like, tears are running
Because
down.
now we've
my
lost a little bit more too.
Right,
Yeah.
because now there's a little bit more. And I'm like, boo-hoo.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, oh, my God. I'm that attached still to that little piece back there. That's crazy to me. That's wild.
Yeah. that
Right?
is- yeah.
So finished that whole debacle. And long story short, I no longer went to the barbershop after that.
Yeah.
I decided right there. I was like, I'm going to do it myself.
100%.
I'm gonna shave my head myself. No one else is touching my head,
Mhm.
right? So, so my dad is bald. He's been bald ever since I knew him. So when after the whole barbershop thing,
Yeah.
I was like, I need to do this. So I asked my dad
Mhm.
and other
Give me some
people-
tips.
Yeah,
you
give
know?
me some tips.
Yep.
What do you use? What do you like? What are your techniques? What's
Right.
up?
Yep.
So I asked him and a few other people, and I just tried it all.
Yeah.
I tried what my dad said. It's fine, but it didn't always give me what I was looking for.
Okay.
And a lot of the smells I wasn't really happy with.
Okay.
They just smelled like a man.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and I get it because it's predominantly like a male industry, and like a lot of men shave their heads,
Right.
you know. And so
And their faces.
And their
you know,
faces and
that's
everything.
kind of just been what it's marketed as.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Right. People don't even bat an eye when they see a bald man.
No.
When they see a bald woman, it's like, you must be
Yeah.
something.
Right.
Or, you know.
Yeah.
So, trying all these different products, and they just didn't align with me or myself or my skin. I mean, I'm talking about irritation. The smells just wasn't pleasant for me. So, being who I am, I've always been that person to be like, oh, I can make that. What do you need? I can do that. I can make that,
Okay,
right?
so that's always been
a part of me. Always, always, always. So I just knew I had to do something else, right?
Mm-hmm.
And along this journey of what can I do? Just looking for more natural products, looking for something that I could actually recognize when it comes to the ingredients. And I mean, they were cool, but I'm just like, man, there must be something else for real.
Right.
I didn't find anything that really aligned with me. So, long story short, again, I asked my girlfriend who actually makes natural body care products. Okay. She's awesome.
Yeah.
I did an event with her one time, and she wanted to pay me, and I was like, don't pay me in cash or money. Can you pay me in knowledge? Like, can you teach me?
Yeah.
How to make these things.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to do that, right? So she agreed, and we did it. And it took us well over a year to formulate
so
Rubi
you're
T.
testing different things.
Testing brave people, like family and friends, like, hey, try this out. And just
human tested. Check
human tested for humans. Rated H for humans.
Yep.
That's my thing. That's basically how it happened. I asked my girlfriend to teach me. She taught me. It took us well over a year to formulate it, and I've been sharing it and happy ever since. Like, my my lifestyle has just changed like tremendously, for real.
Yep. And this is 100% what you're doing now, Rubi T.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Full
It's
throttle.
yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So when was the first sale?
My first sale, real sale. Ooh, BaldyCon.
I've not heard of BaldyCon, but I might be there soon. Yeah.
BaldyCon is this amazing conference for basically the bald community.
Sure.
And, you know, like we talked about earlier, some people are bald by choice, and some people have other conditions and things that happen, like alopecia and things like that. So it brings a lot of women into one space, which was the very first time I had been in one space with people that look like me.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was crazy.
So you probably saw me writing, and I don't want to take away from the first sale, but I think that, you know, one thing that kind of is banging into my head is you made this as a choice. It was something that made you feel stronger, more confident in yourself. But there are a lot of folks that don't necessarily have that same choice, or they don't realize that they have that choice and control. It's something that they kind of got to do. How has that been in your journey of hearing all of these other stories of individuals that maybe didn't get to make that choice of, it was like, I'm either going to lose my hair, it's going to be patchy, it's going to be this way or that, or I'm going to take control. And I have a thought in my head, but I want to hear your answer first.
Yes. So it saddens me.
Sure.
But it makes me want to go even harder.
Yep.
And it makes me want to inspire people even more.
Yeah.
It's like, no, yes, I shave my head by choice, but hair is still a big thing for all of us. It's like, you know.
Right.
And I just really try my hardest to encourage them.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's empowering.
Yes. Yeah. It was very empowering for me. I didn't realize how much power is going to unlock, but it did. And when I see these people who are struggling with it, even children who are struggling with their appearance and their identity, I just really try to give them words of encouragement and to really be that figure that shows them, like, look, I had hair and I decided to shave it like yours. Right. You know? Right.
Like,
so
you're cool.
You're great. Like, come on now. We gotta tap into this. Like, this is amazing. Like, look at your face. Look at your look at who you are. Like, it's not just about your hair. It's okay. Yep. You got this.
I love it.
You know? So a lot of times I'm doing that.
Yeah.
And at BaldyCon, I did run into a lot of women who were still struggling with not having their hair.
Well, I mean, I think having somebody who is full of life, you're beautiful. I mean, in the most podcasty way.
Thank you.
You are gorgeous, right? But you also have an awesome smile and that presence. And I think when you see others, or others maybe see you
Yeah.
that are in that different place. It's like, it is that kind of figure that you're aspiring to be more similar to. You're like, she's crushing it, right?
Yeah.
And so you can kind of move out of your own head a little bit when you see examples of how others are,
Yeah.
taking big strides. That's
Yes.
kind of a good way to put it.
Exactly. Exactly.
So you make your first sale, PaldiCon,
Yep.
and then it's off to the races. Like, where do you go from there? Like, you've built a little bit of a community, you've built a little bit of a network there. You're a networker anyway, so I'm sure you had a
Yes.
network going into it.
Yes. Yes. So BaldiCon is in September. It's actually coming up this September.
Okay, where is it?
It's in Atlanta. It's going to
really?
be at the Marriott,
Okay.
in Atlanta.
Yeah.
In Buckhead, if I'm not mistaken. Don't get JW.
The JW Marriott.
Yeah.
Okay.
September 27th through the 29th.
Okay.
It's a big deal, right?
Yeah.
So shout out to Bald and Free. So so made my first sale, debut at BaldiCon. And then, so that's in September. October is when I launched my website.
Okay. Yeah. So it's on.
Yeah, so it was on since then.
Okay.
Yep.
And that was in what year?
It was last year.
Last year.
Yeah.
Yes. That's right around the time I met you, just after that, probably.
Yep.
Because I think it was the fall SIP event, maybe in the winter one.
Was it last year or the year before last? It was last year.
23?
Yeah. I was at BaldiCon 23.
It's wild. This has been a while.
I'm like, where are we right
couple
now?
Years. Yeah. I don't know if it's my age too. It's like
whatever.
Yeah, who cares? So a year and a half. All right. And we know I'm an insurance guy, and so I think the first time we met, I'm trying to add a little bit of value, but I'm not a pushy sales guy either.
Right.
And so I think we just kind of have that conversation. I was like, well, how do you do your insurance? Where are you guys at in this
Right.
process? And
Right.
you would share, you're like, look, we got some steps to take.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And so how's that been over the past, let's call it 12 months, 10 months?
Yeah. There's been a lot of steps.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like we said earlier, a lot of moving parts.
100%.
And I realized, in the space that you hear, you don't know what you don't know.
And it'll slap you in the face all the time. But
Slap
if you're
you.
open to it, it can be very helpful.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. And I'm someone who I'm always not looking for challenges. I look for a great day and positivity. However, I'm aware of the reality of things. There will be challenges.
Yep.
And I've had tons of challenges, but I'm not someone that run away from those things. I actually okay, well, let's do it.
Yeah.
Right? So failures, making mistakes,
Yep.
all kind of things are happening, just $1,000 mistakes though.
Yeah.
Without money backing behind you.
Yeah.
You're working, I'm working really hard to have these funds to do the things that I think is important to do, or
Yep.
things that I must have.
And then you get that nice reminder of wait, you took 2 steps too fast.
Ma'am.
And go ahead and rewind this, and your already sunk cost is gone. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like my husband he says, you're putting 2 carts before the horse. And I'm like, stop saying that. Golly. But I'm like, you're absolutely right, because who's going to pull these carts?
Right.
You know?
Yeah, 100%.
And so when it comes to the insurance, just networking and running into people in my industry that could give me a little bit more insight on things that actually works better with my industry.
Yeah.
So that's basically how it happened.
It's
so
huge.
I end up signing, getting a membership, getting the product liability with a company
Good.
that caters to cosmetics.
Perfect.
So it worked out, but
Yeah, absolutely.
those challenges and things
They're
like
there,
that, they're there. And but I'm open to all of it, all the failures, because I know if something happens and I make a mistake and I lose this, it's just it's a challenge, and it adds fuel to my fire. So I'm like, all right, well, now I need to do this. So let me do this then.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I think, and this is in my own personal experience too, to go after the difficult, right? To embrace the suck, as some might say, or it's in the difficult things that we truly grow. You know what I mean? And so to have those sort of built-in mannerisms are a huge asset, and to bounce back, because it's really easy to quit. You know what I mean? And it's easy to be like, well, I could always go get a 9-to-5 and go work for somebody
Honey.
or whatever. And it's like, nah, man, you're here. Let's go. Yeah.
Nah, I mean, that's me all day, and I've always been that way.
Good.
I've always been someone who is very ambitious and someone who puts my best foot forward, and I try to if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. And I'm not going to half-A it. I'm not going to, no, I'm going to go for it,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
And I don't believe in giving up, but I do realize, along this journey, it's with all these moving parts again, just balancing that, your personal life and work
Big
and
time.
entrepreneurship. It's It's major.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's sometimes. I mean, I know for me, you kind of have to move that entrepreneur kind of thing out of the way
Yep.
because it can really be distracting, especially in those quiet times in the evenings when things are going difficult. It's like a million different thoughts. And
Yeah.
it's like, well, bro, this is your chill time. Like, you got to
Yeah.
be better tomorrow. So how
Yeah.
do how do you kind of separate those two? That is, it's everybody has to manage it their own
Yeah.
way. I think there's no secret sauce on that one.
There's no secret sauce. There's
Yeah.
no instruction manual. But I think just realizing like, oh, I need to take a step back. Like, I need to get some personal time. I
Yeah.
need to make sure I'm feeding into myself and I'm watering into
I'm
myself.
sure your husband appreciated that a little bit too.
Absolutely, because I'm like I can be intense. I can be intense sometimes, and he's perfect for that because he's like we're like the perfect. He gets it, but I try to be mindful myself.
Yeah.
And take those days
For sure.
and sometime that
And be present in those
and
days,
be
right?
present in those days.
That's a big thing.
Because that's hard to
It's real
do.
hard.
Because even if we're like hanging out, we're chilling, and I'm like, okay, we're gonna watch a movie.
Yeah.
Right? Because we're both always going,
Yep.
right? So I'm like, okay, let's watch a movie. In my mind, I'm like, okay, I was supposed to do that. I sent that email to him.
Right.
I need to order these. Okay, I need to. In the back of my mind, I found myself doing that.
Oh, yeah.
Or I'm surrounded by all of my devices,
Mhm.
and I'm sitting on the couch trying to have some personal time.
Right. But you've got.
But
these
I have all
distractions.
these devices, so when it goes on commercial, I'm like, okay, let me
Right. Let me
and-
take my 5
let
minutes.
me take my
Yeah.
5 minutes. And I see my husband, he's just like, he doesn't say anything. Just
Yeah,
let me do
that's-
my thing.
Kudos to you, dude. That is not easy.
Well, he didn't say anything before, but
Yeah.
now he's like, all the devices are going away. We're gonna put those upstairs and we're gonna
Yeah.
go downstairs.
Define
right?
boundaries. Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
good thing.
you need boundaries, and it's very important to keep yourself
Mm-hmm.
and to take care of your personal life.
Yeah.
It's very important. And it's so easy for them to collide.
Yeah, I mean, our mental health affects our physical health. Our physical health affects our mental health. And
Exactly.
it's they're one and the same.
Yeah.
You've got to be very attentive to both.
You
right?
have to. And I make it my business these days.
Good.
I'm like, all right, I'm not working at all today. I'm
Yeah.
not doing a thing. A lot of times I have to put my phone on
Do not disturb
do
or
not
whatever.
or plane
Plane
What is it?
mode.
Plane
Yeah,
mode.
airplane mode. Yeah,
Airplane
yeah, yeah.
mode. And
Good one. Phone will charge faster too if you do that. A little tip.
oh, I gotta okay. I'm gonna remember
Anyway,
that.
so keep going. I apologize.
No, you're good. Yeah, it's just important. A lot of people like to say, work. You
Yeah.
can sleep when you die. You can
Right.
da da da. It's like, I'm very conscious of the things that I consume
Mm-hmm.
and the things that I feed into myself. It's very important to me.
Yep.
Sleep is very important.
Critical.
The food and the things that you're doing is very important because if you're not giving yourself the proper energy and the proper care, you can't be something for someone else if you're not
Absolutely
watering into you.
100%.
I'm going to be trying to water from an empty cup.
Right.
How?
Right.
That's not going to last
It's not
long.
possible.
You're going to burn out.
You're exhausted.
You're
done.
exhausted. So I try to be mindful of that,
Mm-hmm.
and I do the necessary steps.
Yeah.
That it's always changing.
I mean, what are some of those sort of, I mean, this is a kind of a bigger leading question, but kind of getting into that. How have you started to really be more mentally aware and present, right? Is it reading? Do you have, is there a network of folks? What is it? I mean, is it just kind of your own, you've got it built in there and it's just being conscious of doing it? I mean,
Yeah.
everybody's built different.
It's definitely built in there now, but it's something that I had to work to
Sure.
get to. But it's this is a loaded question when you ask me, what are you doing in your personal time?
Right.
There's so many different things that I like to tap into.
Mm-hmm.
It could be a day of just going with the flow, but
Right.
just not working.
Yeah.
It could be taking a nap in the
Mhm.
middle of the day. It could
Yeah.
be prepping food that I wanted to prep, for the week. It could be going on a hike.
Yeah.
It could be, going to the gym, getting some
Planning
sauna
for a
time,
vacation.
planning for a vacation,
you
planting like little things like that actually make me feel good.
Mine is being outside for
It
sure.
being outside.
And like, planting or, doing something creative. I
Yep.
love to play golf.
Yep.
My golf ball gets creative sometimes. So, it's all over the place. But
Definitely.
I think you have to find those things. But
Yeah.
you got to be like, give yourself that moment of like, this is my thing, right? And
Yeah.
then you have to make that a habit. You've got to make it a
Exactly.
habit. You got to make it a habit.
Yeah.
So those are critical pieces.
Very critical.
Talk to me a little bit about just on my journey. I've had, some pillars, mentors, some, other individuals on the outside that I, may speak to once a year. I may speak to them once a week. But there have been a lot of different people who have had influence on me, who have been
Yeah.
encouragers of me, who have
Yeah.
been great sounding boards to me. Is that part of your experience?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think we find the way to really rock this life out is having those people in your life. A lot of us like to say, "Oh, I'm self-made and it's me and me, me, me." It's like, no.
Yeah.
I have a good bit of
Absolutely.
people who are very instrumental in my life and
Yeah.
very important to me.
Mm-hmm.
And they have encouraged me and just motivated me and given me insight just to keep going and
Yeah.
to just to push me,
That's awesome.
to continue
You
to
gotta
like
have
challenge
it.
me. Yeah.
I know at least I do, and I don't know that I believe those that said that they don't. And
Right. It's very, very important, and
Yeah.
I definitely have those people in my life
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, and I mean builders, but also those that are willing to humble us too.
Oh yeah.
Keep us in check.
Oh yes, honey. Like other than I mean, I definitely keep myself. I try to keep myself
You seem
in
pretty
check.
aware. I'll give you that for sure. For sure.
I'm very aware,
Yeah.
and everything means something to me, right?
Mhm.
I'm very intuitive in that space, but I keep myself in check. But there are some people that I am open to. I'm very open with,
Right.
So I'm very raw and transparent with
Yep.
them. So if I go to them, they know that I'm coming from a like,
Yeah.
hey, I need you. I need you to
Yep.
give me something here because my mind is like in a million different places right now, and I need you to ground me, help me, get me in check right now.
Yeah.
What am I doing? Like, I wanted to make this decision, but you tell me your thoughts.
Mhm.
I would love to hear your thoughts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Versus just living an impulse like I usually
Right.
do, just make a decision,
Yeah.
like shaving my head.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
you had a week.
I know, right? I had a week to change my mind, right? I
You
did,
still did it.
and I stuck to it. But yeah, definitely some people in my life that will humble me in a minute.
Yeah.
And I respect them, and I
Absolutely.
love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's great to have. I mean, I have a small kind of inner circle.
Oh,
if you
very
will,
small
you know,
now. Very
and
small.
once you're in, we're golden. But
Yeah.
Once you break it,
It's a wrap. It's
We
a
done.
wrap. That's so
Over.
funny you say that though, because
Yeah.
it's like throughout this journey you learn. Okay, that's just a mistake. Okay, I failed. Okay, let's try again.
right?
Let's try again.
Yeah.
Let's try again. And then I'm like, hold on now. I know I'm doing my part
Right.
in upholding my end of the bargain.
Yeah.
But what are you doing? That's too many mistakes. So for me now, I'm at this space. I'm like, one strike and you're out.
Yeah.
They're not three. It's one.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
we don't have time for that,
You
man.
don't.
We got to keep
life's
moving
short.
forward.
Absolutely. You got to have goals, and if those people aren't aligned with that, then it's better for them and for you. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
I'll see you later.
Everybody's gonna find their own path,
And that's okay.
100%.
And that's okay.
It's a great thing.
Yeah.
That's a great thing. All right, tell us a little bit more about just some of the great stuff that's going on with Rubi T. Right. So you had mentioned that there's how many products do you have? What we kind of were talking about the natural side of it, and you had developed this with your friend, and then what's on the market now?
Okay, yes. So I did bring you some today, and I know
Let's
you.
see it. Let's go. I saw that.
I know
Let's
you
stare
do
at
your
it.
own little thing or whatever.
Well,
but
I mean, I thought about it this morning. I was like, should I just get her to shave my head on there? I was like, nah, it might take a little long, but I will try this. I can't wait to give you
you
some
have
feedback.
to. You have to. So I have shaving foam.
Okay.
Today I brought you the Ruby Mints.
Sweet.
And
Let's
that's more of the double mint,
Okay.
spearmint, peppermint, lemon, eucalyptus.
Okay.
And then I brought you some aftershave mist. And then I have
Oh, that smells awesome.
yes, thank you. And then I brought you some unscented soap.
Okay.
So right
so
now,
how do you like? What's the unscented soap?
so
Talk to
the
me about
soap
that.
is basically a puck,
Yeah.
and it's like wrapped for you. But basically you can wet this. Oh, nice. So basically you wet this with water. You can use your hands to
Okay.
lather it. It's a
Okay.
very rich,
This
thick lather.
Okay. I think I know where you're going. Just keep
yes,
going. Yeah,
yes. So you lather it. I have a brush that I use to
Oh,
lather
yeah,
it.
yeah. Like almost that old school style.
It's definitely the old school
Love
wet
it.
shaving. I love it.
Yeah,
I
I
love
bet.
it so much. And so you wet it, you lather it, and you put it on your head or wherever you're gonna shave.
Yeah.
For me, it's my head.
Sure.
And then I shave.
Yeah.
You
But
wanna-
this is also a body shape product.
And body. So it's for your precious bald head,
Yeah.
face, and body.
Yep.
It's made for women and men.
Mm-hmm.
And right now I have 3 different products. Like I said, the foam, the
Smells
soap,
amazing.
and the aftershave
me see
mist.
that one, yeah.
The aftershave mist, that one that I got you is the Mad Rubies.
Mad Rubies.
And it's
okay.
a pomegranate and a lavender formula. I love it. It's
I
one of
do
my
too.
favorite.
I do
That one
too.
is my top seller.
It's a unique smell.
Yeah, thank
right?
you.
It's got a sweetness in there, which has like a little bit of a feminine punch, but it's not feminine.
Feminine, exactly, exactly.
I dig it.
Thank you. Thank you. So I have to emphasize on that because when people see it, they're like, oh, this is for women. I'm like, it's for women and men.
And men,
We
yeah.
all shave. So I focus on clean ingredients. That's my number one thing. And I want to be safe for your head, your
Yep.
face, and your body.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
external use only.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm shaving your gums.
Right. Right. And is that definitely on the website. We have a
Yep.
website, RubiTShaving.com.
RubiTShaving.com.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And all the social media is Rubi T Shaving as well.
So same handle for everything.
Yep, same
Beautiful.
handle for everything.
Awesome, awesome. And on your, so let's talk about like social media content, right? So
Yeah.
do you have folks that are using the product on there? Like we were
Yeah.
talking a little bit before about just kind of how do you market yourself as an
Right.
individual, industry, as a brand within, but there's also a lot of similarities with all industries.
Yeah.
But it's kind of those unique things. But so tell us a little bit just about what's on there. and what
So
have you.
yeah, so I'm really I'm getting better with my social media. Like I said, because I'm running it right now.
Yeah.
And I have a couple that I'm running.
Right.
So it's important that I display the usage of my products. I do have UGC, like content creators,
Okay.
who I know. Some of them I know, some of them I don't.
Okay.
And they basically are just using the products and showing their experience. I also have just little things that I do in the background. I put some behind the scenes things on there, some inspiration,
Have
some
you had
customer
any just
reviews.
massive like kind of responses from anything, positive or negative?
I've had actually, not gonna lie, like I've had awesome reviews
Great. That's
and
awesome.
feedback.
Good.
I
Good,
really
good.
have.
Yeah.
I really have. So I'm very grateful for that. However, I know that everything doesn't work for everyone.
Right.
So that's another reason why I did the unscented. So there's no essential oils and things
Yeah.
like that.
Mm-hmm.
And just so I can try to cater to a wider range of people
Absolutely.
because we have different skin types.
Yep.
But so far, positive feedback, and I just want to share it with even more people, as much as I can.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, in the shaving world, people usually already have their routine and their products that they like. But I think, you should be open to try new things because you never know what you're going to get out of it. You might find
I
your
mean, I'm a
favorite
year
thing.
in to the bald community, if you will, but it is interesting. Like, and it's not been a ton, but I will get compliments from, and often it's bald men. It's not bald women. Very much.
I know, right?
But like I was at the golf course the other day, and there was this guy, and he's like, and I had just shaved it like the day before, but I had used like a tight clipper, I think, on it or something. And he was
Right.
like, what, like, how did you, cut your hair? But that sort of community is there of like, what kind of clippers are you using?
Yep.
Or is that a shave? Or is
Yep.
that a guard? Or like, is this that? Has that helped with your brand too, of just that community building your community?
Absolutely.
I gotta think. it would.
Absolutely. I mean, can you imagine? Like, I was just like, what do you use? What do you do? Who is this? What is that? Da, da,
Right.
da. Just being in this community, which is predominantly men, I love talking about it. I love learning new things and
Yeah.
actually like challenging them to use my products to
Right.
see what results that will get for them.
Yep.
And no lie, all positive.
Good.
Because the thing is, the products out there, I mean, they're cool and all, but there are different elements that are important to me, which
Right.
is the sense, the closer shave, the feeling, the consistency of the products. It matters.
Yep, big time.
It matters.
Big time.
People might say it doesn't,
Big
but it totally matters.
I mean, because what as a kid or what, even over the past, we've seen more brands that are small brand pop into like a CVS or into a Walgreens or
Yeah.
whatever, especially on the shaving aisle. There's a
Yeah.
couple that you probably can off the top of your head, but then you have like the steady eddies that have always been Barbasol or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Right? That's just kind of the standard.
Yeah.
And so I love the fact that there's an alternative. What does that kind of like path look like for you? I mean, obviously the big boys are big boys for a reason.
Yeah.
And so kind of banging your head up against that, you really have to differentiate yourself. And
Yeah.
I can see that. That's what's going on here. What are some of those sort of next steps for you as far as just kind of like continuing to grow the brand, continue
Yeah.
to, grow the product line? How does that kind of look?
Yeah. So, to answer that question, well, first of all, you're absolutely right. There are so many different products out there. And I think the difference between myself and those products is literally just the clean ingredients and really tapping
Big
into
time.
that and being conscious of the things that you're putting
Yep.
into your body. Like, that's very important to me. It's more quality over quantity, which is why I have stayed with these 3 items all of this time and 3 different scents. I haven't than just knocking out different fragrances just for the sake of that.
And I think that's such a critical point to make.
Yeah.
Like, you're not defined in this small box, but you're also not everything to everybody, and so it's not
Correct.
confusing who your people are, right? And then that
Exactly.
you can build that audience out from there, as opposed to trying to be like, how do we get everyone? And
Yeah,
it's like you're
yeah.
not going to do it. That's building yourself into that failure hole,
Exactly.
right?
And
So,
that's quite all right. I want the people that gets it
Yep.
and that like value premium.
well, then they're your brand ambassadors on some level too, right?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
they're-
absolutely. Absolutely. So, I mean, one of the things that I'm doing to grow is I created a wholesale package, and so I'm available for wholesale now.
Are you? All right.
Yes,
So
I
I
am.
was going to kind of ask that because I know you can, how can people purchase this product? Let's put that out there. What's
Yes.
the best way to
So
put
right now, the best way to purchase your Ruby T products is basically on the website, rubytshaving.com. It's a full functioning website. Or you can catch me at an event that I usually post on
Okay.
my Instagram and Facebook. I usually say where I'm going to be. So the next event is actually BaldyCon.
Nice.
September 27th
Okay.
through the 29th. But you can purchase Ruby Tea every day
Yep.
at rubytshaving.com.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So when you say wholesale, clear that up for me. Would that be like in salons or in
Yeah, like different stores,
Yep.
different salons. There are different
yeah.
places that
Even like boutique type of
boutiques.
stores?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. Gift shops, things like
100%.
that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Perfect. I
Yep.
like it. I'm trying to think here. What else we got? I'm looking at my little cheat sheet, but we've been crushing it on here.
Yeah.
Talked about how everybody can connect with you, how they can find you, socials, website.
What else you got for me today?
You know, I'm just enjoying the conversation to be there. So tell us just a little bit more about the vision of growing. I mean, what's your team look like? Is it you? Is it?
Yeah. Okay. That's so funny though, because it made me think about those memes that you see on Instagram and TikTok. They're like, "Hey, the team," and it's like the photographer is me, the marketer is me,
Right.
the producer is me.
I don't know how I did it. It was hard. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like you do it.
Right.
Yeah.
You just kind of do it, and so basically it's me.
Mhm.
Most of the time it's me. Outside of me, it's those people that we talked about.
Mhm.
You know, that actually I can go to and say, "Hey, could you help me find this? Could you help me find that?" I'll have friends that will actually help me package stuff.
That's great.
I have people in my corner that will actually like jump on board and it's like
huge.
all hands on deck.
Yep.
Sometimes you need that, like
Yeah, you absolutely do
Yeah.
need that. Even if it's just to build your energy, just have somebody sitting there to help you. Like, they may not be doing anything except just like that support of like, I'm here, I'm with you, I'm in the room.
Yes.
Tell me how I can, put some glue
Labels,
on this, or
but- yeah.
like
I
how can
mean,
we do,
I'm
and run to
telling
the
you.
print shop for you and just pick it up. Those
Exactly.
kind of things.
It's a lot going on that you don't even think about, that you need to be even aware of.
Sure.
I was like, oh, I'm gonna make natural shaving products, and I made them for myself starting out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is great. I need to share this, right?
Right.
But you don't think about all the things that it takes.
Yeah. I mean, even just to get enough supplies to be you know what I mean? Going from that single batch to, I mean, how do you batch? I mean, how does that?
I do small batches, so
Okay.
I'm glad that you brought that up. I focus on doing the smaller batches, which
That's
are
awesome.
like 2 pounds to 4 pounds.
Okay.
Like just to keep the consistency of everything
Yeah.
is very important for me. I'm not in like a big factory or
Right.
anything like that.
Okay.
So I have a system
Yeah.
in place.
Yeah.
But everything can be tedious.
I bet.
Like making the products is so much fun. Don't get me wrong. I literally feel like a scientist. And
Just a little bit.
it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Like coming up with the scents and trying the different notes and I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Cool.
I really, really do. But the tedious stuff, like putting the labels on the bottles, I'm like,
Straight.
hey, can y'all call me? Can you come over this weekend? I got like 100 bottles I need,
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm just happy I have that in my corner.
Have you had, this is a random one, have you had any scents, because you lit up when we said that were just, you thought were going to be great and they were just gnarly? And you're like, whoa, no.
Yeah, of course. You're like I was saying earlier that I'm going to be launching like a new scent,
Yep.
and just trying different things. This particular scent, the notes are going to be like spices, like
Okay.
cinnamon and spices and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about it.
I like it.
But just going through this array of scents and trying to put them all together, I'm like, ew. Like,
Yeah.
why? How did you even get to that, right? That was a little too much.
No, I mean, I think the other side of it is like, are there some of those combinations you're like, holy, like crap, how does this smell this good based on what went into it,
Right.
like in that combination? 'Cause, I
Yeah.
mean, to some degree, a lot of the food that we eat, it's through our sense of smell that we
Yeah.
taste, correct? And so I
Yes.
think just kind of how you interpret what it would be versus, when you cook something together, it doesn't taste like, this and that. It's the
It's a
combination,
process,
right?
Will. It
Yeah.
takes days, weeks
Yep.
to formulate like a scent.
I bet.
I have to sleep on it. I have to come back and smell it. I
Yeah.
have to. It's like a whole thing.
Well, so and you may know this better. I mean, you definitely know better than me, but I think it's our noses are one of our weakest senses because basically it's a protection thing, right? But
Right.
you can move kind of that out of your peripheral, so your sight and all of these other senses that you have, or your ears, they're not. It's not going to go like if you have a bad smell, like you're in the airport or something. That's typically going to move out of you're not going to be conscious of it. So that's something that's really you got to be aware of, right? Because if you're just smelling that same smell or just a little different throughout like an hour-long period versus a week, where you give it space, I'm sure it's a massive difference.
Yeah, it's a huge difference, and a lot of times, most of the times, you want your fragrances to sit. I use essential oils, so and if you know about essential oils, they're not meant to like stick and linger.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So there are different ones that actually work well with each other that will give you those notes, like what you're smelling today.
Right. Absolutely. Yep.
And so I have something sitting on the shelf right now. It's been there for like 2 months.
Okay.
And I love what it's become, because at first I was like, I don't know about this one, and I'll go back to it like every now and then. I was like, what else can I add to this, or what should I take away? So it's a process that I choose to like indulge and like dive into.
It'll
it's very
work out
important. It's very important.
Those sort of attention to detail things make such a big difference down the road. Even if it's just like learning the process of like, I gotta wait 2 hours, I gotta wait 2 days before I go back to this. So I mean, because it's
you can't just I can't just be throwing things out there like
No,
all
heck
willy
no.
nilly. Like some people are good at that, and some people, but for me, I'm just like, nah, I need to.
I mean, this brand, you're behind it, right? And this is a big part of you, and so you're not going to put something out there that you don't fully back. And that's what I feel from you, at least. I don't want to put words in your mouth,
No,
but I mean,
no.
you believe, you're behind it, it's you, and so I think that is a huge attribute of any business owner to really support what they're doing, and then that really builds that trust for your audience, for your clients, for those potential buyers. They can see that from you, and just your energy. I mean, that's such a good thing too.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Well, cool. All right, we're getting to that point. We're getting a little long in. Is there anything else that you would like to share with our audience, your audience?
Yeah.
Is there anything that we can help you with? Is there anything that's just kind of out there of, I don't know, a message to the YouTube world, if you will? What do you got?
Oh, let's see. Well, since we're on Rubi T, I would say, I feel really confident in the things that I'm doing and the things that I'm making. And I think it's important that we stay conscious of what we're putting into our bodies.
Big time.
I'm not going to be that, person that drives that, but that's very important to
labels.
me. I know, right? Check the labels.
And once
man.
you understand, like, if you can't read it, that might be a reason to look it up.
Exactly. Just look it up.
We'll leave it there.
Yep. Look it up. But I feel very confident and I feel good about my products because, for one, I use it too. Yeah. And it's very important to me.
And you should feel good. You should feel very proud.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, I mean, give it a try. I know you
100%.
probably have your own routine and your own products that you're using, but check out Rubi T.
Absolutely.
You can only,
I'm going to be looking a lot cleaner in my next podcast.
I'm going to be shiny and everything, moisturized.
It's coming. Well, I really, really appreciate having you here. I look forward to seeing you again. If it makes sense, we can do another one of these too.
Absolutely.
This has been a good conversation.
Yeah.
And I know that I've got a lot that I'm going to be looking forward to from you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Heck yeah. Well,
I appreciate you, Will. Yes, thank you.
Cool.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Yes.